First of all, how proud are you of this album?
I am proud. It sounds so stupid to say it.
No, it doesn't.
And I didn't know what I was doing when I started it. I mean, I didn't have a goal. I just didn't want to do a Christmas album. I wanted to do an album that was like with a Christmas theme and that would make people feel happy during the holidays, but I just wanted to do a Cher album.
How was it working with Alexander?
I was apprehensive because I know he's good. He's produced big people, he's written big songs, but my feeling was because when we first met and he said, you know, why aren't you working? And I went, I don't know, you know, I'm just not feeling it or whatever. And he brought me one song, Fairness it was called, and it was like, killed me. And then he brought me another, Love to Love, and killed me. And I wanted them to be my songs because he hadn't given them to me, he just had played them. And then I thought, he knows me so well. But what I also thought was, if this doesn't work out, it's not going to be good for the relationship. But then finally, I just thought, I have to bet on him.
How is that? I mean, the way you guys met is fascinating. You're hanging out with Tina Turner in Switzerland. He asked for your number.
He asked my friend, Lori Brodkin. I didn't know who Alexander was, but my friend Nebby kept pushing me to ask him about his teeth. She was like fascinated with his teeth. And so I went up to him, and he's very shy, but you know, I said, you know, that's a cool grill. I knew that much. And he said, it's not a grill, these are my teeth. And we talked for a few minutes, and then we took this picture. And then Alexander called Lori and said, I have this picture that was taken of us when we were all taking those pictures, and I just thought she might like to have it. So would you give it to her? And she said, well, why don't you give it to her yourself? So he texted me and said, you know, what are you doing? And I said, I'm on my way to Switzerland. I'm going to see Tina, and then I've got to do some other things. And then he said, okay, well, I hope you're going to get a good rest. And I thought, okay, you know, I hope you have a good time, whatever. And then he texted me again, and then it doesn't make, like nobody else gets it, but he put 3 Y's on the end of baby, which he always does now. And I just said, you don't know me well enough to put 3 Y's on baby. So, and then we started texting, which is something I told my friends. I had just told my girlfriend got really hurt in a relationship. And I said, you're too old, don't text, it doesn't work, blah-de, blah-de, blah-de. And so we started to text because I was in a place where I couldn't do much. And I kept saying, I'm not the right woman for you. First of all, I'm 100 years older than you. And secondly, your friends would think you were uncool if you were trying to hang with me, you know? And he said, why don't you let me be the judge of that? And then it just happened.
Wow. How would you describe your relationship? I see you. I hear you. Okay, I love that. I want to ask you about Tina real quick. How was it seeing Tina?
Now, I've known Tina for a long, long time, and I'd been going to see Tina. In the beginning, I think she thought she was a lot sicker than she was because I would go there, and then we'd be talking for a couple of hours, and then she was up and she was laughing and showing us everything, and we were having the best time ever. She was just being Tina. And then it was kind of going like that for a while, and then it started to progress to not so great. And then the last time I saw her, not so great. And then I could tell, it was like my mom, when they're just not feeling it, you know? And I know Tina so well, and she's energetic, and that laugh is like, you know, what you get when you're there with her. So I was pretty sure that it was going to be our last fun time. I'm singing with Stevie Wonder. Come on, it doesn't get better than that.
Okay, let's talk about Stevie Wonder. I love the Motown feel of that. What was it like working with Stevie?
I thought only Stevie can do these Stevie parts. You know, I said, Stevie, I want you to do my song, and I'm going to send it to you, what I've done, but I can't do certain parts of it, and they're just Stevie parts, you know? And I was nervous. I was so nervous. I'm hemming and hawing, ba-da, ba-da, ba-da. And then finally he said, sure, Cher. And then at the end he said, do you want me to play harmonica? And it was like, yes, I do. Thank you, God.
It was perfect. It
Right.
really.
And then I ran around my room and I got on my bed and jumped up and down.
Really? It turned out perfect. It has such a Motown sound. It feels like it was from that period. It's authentic and it's great. All right, Michael Bublé.
Okay, I didn't know him, but Susan and Dion and my publicist, Liz, knew him, and they were talking about it, and they said something like, you should do a Christmas album, and one of the songs should be with him. And then he was the one that said, sure, yeah, you know.
It worked out perfect. How did
It's
you pick
one
the
of the
song?
It's one of the most different songs.
Yes.
I would say it is probably the most different song. Our duet together is pretty much of a tearjerker, but you know, that's Christmas too.
Your voice is still your voice. It's still perfect.
I know.
How did you pull that off? Because it sounds like I'm a kid who grew up watching Sonny and Cher, and it's the same person still singing to me.
You know, I've said this before too, but my doctor has said for years, you've got like 25-year-old vocal cords. When I was having the idea to do it, I went to him and went, okay, what do they look like now? And he said, they look the same. And he said, this is some sort of weirdo thing that's happening to you.
Your voice was perfection. Okay, two things that I never thought I'd say in the same sentence. Cher and Tyga.
And Tyga.
How did
You're not
that
the only person who says that.
Right. How did that happen?
Okay, so I asked Alexander if he would do Drop Top. And T's a friend of mine, and T and Alexander are best friends. And so T heard it, and I thought Alexander was going to have to like twist his arm. And T said, I'd like to do that. Because Alexander said, you know, I need a third verse. And T said, I got it.
He just said, I got it.
Yeah.
Want to ask you, do you have a favorite song on this album?
I love DJ. That was the first one we did, and it sounded like, oh, here comes this, here comes the big one. And I really love it because it's funny. And I love Angels in the Snow because it's so strange, and explaining it, you know, Wild Child, you know.
Sure, I've never heard the line, drop top sleigh ride. I've never heard that, drop top sleigh ride.
I said to Sarah, I want something that would usually be for kids, like candy canes. But so she put Candy Cane High, you know? And it was like, it just worked for me so much. And then when Alexander got it, he made it so fabulous. So I think that one's really my favorite.
Yeah, I had never heard that line. And from LA to the North Pole, Oakland to the North Pole.
Oakland was me.
That was you?
Yep. Because he's from Oakland, and I went, you know, I never hear anybody talking good about Oakland, so let's just do it.
I want to show you something real quick. We were with you on the set of Believe. You remember this?
Is that during the video?
That's during the video. We were on the set.
Do you believe in life after love?
Absolutely. I mean, we've all been in love and gotten our hearts broken, and there is definitely life after love, just not immediately after.
See that thing? There was a guy sitting at the bottom of my trailer, and those are little plastic things, and he was just making them, and I just said, what is it? And he said, oh, just nothing, I'm just weaving this stuff together. And I went, well, could you make a big one for me? And he said, yeah. And I put it on my hair. I put it on the back of my head.
You just said I'm gonna wear it.
Yeah. And he was like, oh, all right. And it was perfect.
What is it about that song that connected with so many people and made it such an iconic hit?
I think the sound, since nobody had ever heard that sound before,
First
still
time.
using it, but you know, it was the sound, and the sound was out of desperation. It didn't come out of happiness, it came out of a big fight. Somehow your ear just responds to it. It just, because everybody did, you know? It was a sound that everybody responded to, and it was like that kind of weird not a bubble, not a, you know, just, you didn't know what it was.
And it changed music a little bit, right?
Yeah, it did.
It's fair to say.
Yeah.
Right? You continue to relate yourself to generation after generation. So does that mean there's another album that you've got in you? Now
Yeah.
that you
oh,
see
no,
this,
no, I'm planning it.
Really?
Yeah.
A tour also?
I'm from your mouth to God's ears, you know? That's what I want to do. And if I feel like I've got it, I feel like I've got one more in me.
You know, everybody always says one more and then they do one more. So
Yeah,
I'm not mad at you.
No,
I say
no,
keep doing
but
it.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.